You've recently added Kelly Chase from the UFO Rabbit Hole podcast, I think it's called. She recently put out a video that got a lot of attention, basically saying she's not because coming to your convention, but saying she's tapping out of the UAP world because people like Lue Elizondo, she believes, are still working for the government and so forth. She doesn't really trust people. What do you make on that video if you've seen it?
I have not seen that video. I know Kelly very well. She's awesome. You know, she's sort of new to the topic. It's only been a handful of years, five or 6 years, I think she's been involved in the community, but she took a deep dive in research. I deeply respect the work she's done. Her and J. Christopher King have an awesome documentary of their own right on Apple TV right now on Compolis or something like that. It's called. It's really good. And yes, there's a lot of backlash in this community about who to trust. You know, these guys from Lue Elizondo to Richard Doty, these guys, Richard Doty was a disinformation agent back in the day, and now he says that he's coming clean. How do you trust somebody that does that? And if Lue's still tied to the government, people do struggle to trust these things. The problem with this world is all of these things are unknowns, and we don't know. We don't know if the alien thing is truly real, and we don't know if the people that are telling us about it or coming out from the government are being authentic, and that's very challenging. So that's the hardest part about being in this community, is to trying to sift through misinformation, disinformation, and what may in fact be real.
One of the interesting feuds in the UFO world that I find entertaining as someone from the wrestling world is Lue Elizondo and Stephen Greer both severely questioning each other's credibility. What do you make of those two these days?
Well, I think it's hysterical how both these guys have these sort of outlandish, strong claims, and yet they both criticize each other. And then there are people in the community, of course. These are very polarizing, controversial figures. That there are people that love them, and there are people that don't like them so much or don't trust them. And I don't know. I'm torn. I've met both of them. I've interviewed both of them. I feel like there's at least a percentage of what each of them says that it's true. And, that's almost enough. These are difficult things because how do we know? That's the problem with this. There's no way to know definitively, but I like digging into it and getting as close as we can to the truth, because over time, eventually we're going to start, the truth will start rising to the top, I hope.
Now, is it possible to rent out the arena in Palm Springs and have a celebrity boxing match with Lue Elizondo versus Stephen Greer for next year's?
I would love it. There it is, main event, steel cage death match right here.
Yeah, that would make a hell of a pay-per-view.
Can you imagine? I'd love it.
Supposedly, Greer can bench 400 pounds. He likes to say a lot, and now we have Elizondo's combat background, so it could be
These guys are
interesting.
fit. I'll tell you, quick side note is I did get a chance to work with Stephen Greer once in Phoenix, and we did this big hike, and I was kind of like sort of interviewing him on the hike. We were having this discussion. That guy, I could barely keep up with him. Barely keep up with him. I mean, he is really genuinely in shape, and I think he's like, what, 67? Something like that.
Yeah, and this is, some people say that he might be a hybrid, and
Well,
that just makes you think about that. And he certainly looks like he could be one.